Hey, Simon.
Hey, how you doing, Scott? You all right?
All right, I am. How are you?
I'm great, man.
Good,
Doing
good.
well.
Fantastic, fantastic. Hey, I see Ireland as a location for you. Are you in Ireland right now?
That's right. Yeah, I am. I moved there. Moved here. Sorry, a couple of years ago, actually.
Man,
Yeah.
that's
So,
awesome.
I'm about. Well, I'm outside of Dublin. I'm in the rural area,
Oh
so
yeah.
it's lovely out here.
Man, I bet it is. I'm about 30 miles west of Chicago, and I bet my atmosphere looks a little bit different than yours.
Yeah, man. Holy CDs, man. Just a few, eh? CDs, vinyl. I mean, you get the whole thing there. Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Like the shirt too.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, yeah, huge music fan. And yeah, I love what you're doing. I love what you've been doing for a long time. It
Oh,
challenges
wow.
me musically, and I appreciate
Right.
that definitely.
Oh,
Um,
thank you, man. Thank you, Scott. It
and
means a lot.
let me introduce you for people who aren't aware. Simon Collins, son of legendary Genesis legend Phil Collins, of course, about to release your fourth solo LP, Becoming Human, September 8th on Frontiers. And let me start, Simon, with I feel a little bit shameful on that introduction. Not shameful, that's the wrong word,
It's
but
okay, man.
uh,
It's the truth, you
well,
know.
it
So
is,
what
it
it is,
is.
what it is, you know. I'm not shy. I'm not shying away from it, you know.
Yeah, and that I guess that's my first question for you. You're Simon Collins. You're an amazing musician, and you have viable material out there. Have you ever felt that it was difficult for you to be simply Simon Collins instead of Phil Collins' son?
Yeah. When I first started out making music, I think that was, you know, the people that I originally started working with. I think there was certainly, kind of a marketing angle there.
Sure.
Yeah, I think, certainly I've had to work. I think twice as hard, to be honest, to kind of become recognized as my own person. To be honest, to kind of break that mold that people see me as, and it's great in a way because it's just really pushed me to really put 100% into everything I do, and it's been an interesting journey, but I wouldn't trade it for anything else, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, what a journey it had to be. Uh, going on tour with your dad and seeing Chester and your dad going at it, and had to be a huge influence on you.
Oh, big time!
Yeah.
It's like such a big impact on my life, really. Growing up on tour, around those amazing musicians, and I knew what I wanted to do with my life by the time I was 10. Really, I
Wow.
started drumming when I was about 8, and my dad put the drumsticks in my hands, and I started playing to my favorite albums. A lot of those albums were actually Genesis records as well. Seconds Out. Played to that album almost like twice a week, almost. All the time. So I also kind of picked up on some of this. Stylistically, I picked up on drumming wise as
Yeah.
well. So yeah, it's had a big impact on me. I just was like, yeah, this is what I want to do with my life. This is fucking amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It had to be.
It's
As a
I
fan from the front, it's incredible. I mean, we all love your dad, and there's not I don't know that there's anybody out there who doesn't love his music.
yeah.
So to be have that firsthand at that young age. What do you think carried over most to you from your dad in general, his legacy, his musical legacy. What do you think carries over most to your music?
I'd probably say the drumming aspect of it all, really. That's certainly our bond. When we did the Big Bang together. That was really, a big part of that. It was just like I always wanted to do something with him, and it was, record labels in the past, they want to, do like a vocal duet, something like that. It's something really corny and
Okay.
cheesy. And so, when I decided to, me and him have this understanding that that would never happen. We'd never sink that low to do something like that. But I asked him, it'd be great to do something. Why don't we do a drum duet, or instead of a vocal duet, let's do a drum duet. That's our bond, really. So yeah, he's had a big influence on my life, as drumming wise, and I don't mean directly, even more so. He was too busy really to kind of, to sit down with me and really, teach me fucking, syncopation and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I had some lessons. Chester actually had quite an impact on my drumming as well. He used to sit down with me as well. But yeah, it's cool that we did something together. But at the end of the day, it's, we're two separate people, right? So
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. And I listened to your material, and I've heard in different articles and things that they're just dying to compare you. I don't see it.
right.
I just don't see it. I mean, a little bit of the style, a little bit of the voice, but you have your own style and voice for sure. And like I say, you have a different growth with each record, I think, and this Becoming Human record is just another step. It's something that I haven't heard from you. Did you have a particular goal in mind when you went into the studio or when you started writing this particular album? Did you want to go towards your heavier, more indie side? Did you want to go
Right,
more?
right.
It sounds a little more electronica to me, but
Yeah, yeah.
did it
I mean,
just come out,
that's
or did you have a
that's
particular goal?
yes, I did. Yeah, I really wanted to kind of, cross pollinate two distinct kind of styles of music. Electronic being at the forefront of the production element, but I'm also, as you can probably tell from Dimensionaut, that I'm also a big fan of progressive rock as well.
Mhm.
So it's those two kind of genres, I think, define not all of the album, but a lot of the album, and the kind of more progressive songcraft, I guess, mixed with that electronic kind of element as well.
Yeah.
Also I, went through some tumultuous times, before I started writing the album. I went through like a painful divorce, and I was in and out of recovery, and Sound of Contact broke up twice, and at that point I just it forced me to grow, really. So it's a very personal album, and I'm singing about things on this album that I'm not even comfortable talking about in some cases.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of rigorous honesty on this album, through all the way from the beginning to end. It's a lot of living in the songs, I'd say, and hope, and together with wanting to kind of explore new sonic territory. There's also, it's not a concept album. I didn't set out to write a concept album, but it's got a very strong kind of existential theme to it. Um, there's a quote from Carl Sagan: "We are a way for the cosmos to know itself." And that really kind of sums up the kind of mental atmosphere of the album, I think.
Yeah.
Just kind of exploring different states of consciousness. So yeah, I set out to write a kind of a personal, kind of spiritualized kind of album, and I think that's what I've achieved there. So I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, and it really comes across as personal. It's really it's a deep album, but
Yes,
it's also accessible. Uh, it's not so deep to where we're lost a lot of the time.
right.
Uh, you know,
Yeah.
it's highly enjoyable to listen to.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I notice a lot of programming on it, and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
also a lot of playing too. Acoustic playing. But do you do you like that aspect of programming? And what are you playing on here? What kind of
I
equipment?
do. I like to have a balance, strike a balance, and I'm playing drums. I am playing drums. I played on my electronic kit, my V drum kit. So I performed a lot of the drums on there. But then we were sifting through a lot of different sound libraries to kind of find the right drum sound for the song. Playing some keyboards, because I write on keyboards mostly. and of course the vocals really. So Robbie Bronyman, he produced the album with me, and he's a very talented electronic producer, very talented producer. Period. But specifically with electronic music, he's just killer at that. So that's originally why I hired him as well. He's also a great songwriter. So we collaborated a lot on there. But so between the two of us, we managed to kind of perform most of the album. But it's not a big cast on the album. We do have some musicians that came into play. Kelly Nordstrom from Sound of Contact. He's not just from Sound of Contact. He's also been we've been working together for 15 years. He's played on every album of mine except for All of Who You Are. So he came in and played played on the album. Robin Bolt from Fish and Gaz Williams as well came and played some bass on the album. Not a lot of live instrumentation, but I think there's a really healthy balance of the kind of the organic and the synthetic.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I mean, and again, it's a growing force. I listened to Dimension Out, I love, and I listen to the solo albums, and then I get to this, and there's pieces of it of your past in this,
right?
But it's a different entity. It really is, and it's so challenging to listen to, and it's exciting. We're getting something new from you every time, and that's
awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I'm so glad you enjoyed the album.
Yeah,
I guess I maybe didn't make the record people expected me to make, possibly, because of Dimension Not. But I really felt like it was like, okay, I've done that. I want to kind of explore something else now, and I think that's kind of consistent with all my albums, that they're all very dynamic and they're different in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
Because my last solo album was very heavy rock, and I produced that with Kevin Churko, who's was working with Ozzy Osbourne, and so he was Mutt Lange's understudy. So the kind of the direction of production was completely different, micro life cycle really. So I always want to kind of set out and explore new sonic territory. Really, it's really really important to me that I keep maturing and I keep evolving, as an artist.
And that's it's obvious for sure. What was the biggest challenge of making this one? Because you do change and you do different things. What are the challenges that come with that? What was the biggest challenge for this one?
I'd probably say the fact that I for the first time in my life had a bit of writer's block. Actually, it was the organ of my imagination just dried up, man. For like a few months, it happens to everybody, but I'd never experienced that before. I think it was really just pushing myself to kind of to write the strongest material I can, and not really settling for this is good enough, or I'm very picky about I'm picky about my vocals, and I'm very picky about what I create, and I'd say the biggest challenge was probably just battling that really, which of course as soon as I got through that really everything just kind of there was just an even flow of ideas and music. So yeah, but every album presents different challenges, I suppose. Yeah. That would have been one, I guess.
Yeah, cool. There are a couple songs co-written with Dave Kersner and Kelly Nordstrom from Sound of Contact.
Right.
And I know there were songs that were meant for a second Sound of Contact album. Well, what songs are they? And why didn't we get a second Sound of Contact album? And I know you already said you went through some personal things, so feel free not to elaborate.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think the song. Starting out with the songs, "Man Made Man," "Thoughts Become Matter," "Living in Silence," and "So Real." Those are the songs that I had written for Sound of Contact that never made it through, really. Not made it through, but all of us brought material to the plate, and when it didn't work out, we all took our material back. Dave did in Continuum with that material of his, and Matt's working on an album right now that's got that his material on it, obviously, and so yeah, I mean, really, I think the main problem with Sound of Contact really was the fact that all the problems that presented themselves really were just based on the logistics of like all of us living all the way, like all different parts of the planet. Really, Matt's in LA, Dave's in Miami, Kelly's in Canada, I'm in Ireland. It became very difficult for us to function as a normal band, and with that became other problems, and then with those problems, politics arrived. So without going too heavy into it, we really decided maybe it's best that we kind of pack it in, and take our material and use it elsewhere, kind of thing. And that's what we did. But we are actually we're brothers, man. Like we're still in touch, and we talk all the time. And we are flirting with the idea of possibly getting back together and making another record. A lot of that would be virtually, I think, because as what I mentioned. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame that didn't work out. It really is.
Yeah, that first record is just it's just incredible. Not coming
Wow.
down is and I realize that's probably the most commercial song on the record, but I just it lives with me every day. It's
Oh wow.
such an
That's great.
amazing song. I, I feel like you grow with each album. Do you How do you feel about your past work? Is there anything that you listen to and just go, man, I don't believe I did that? Or, I can't imagine you would do
uh,
that because it's all seems worthy. But as a musician, I know, when you go back to your older stuff, you say, what was I thinking? Is there anything
right,
like that
right.
for you?
Not so much. I think I'm really proud of what I've done. I am, and as I said before, I'm very, I'm very serious in the studio. Very, for me, it's like if I'm on the fence about something, it doesn't make it on the album. It doesn't go. I don't. If I'm not happy with what I've done and I haven't put 100% into it, it's not gonna be released, really. So, I'd say that the one thing that's been a challenge throughout my entire career has probably been my vocals. When I first started writing music, or when I started to realize this is what I want to do for a living. I was very young at the time. I mean, I knew what I
Right.
wanted to do with my life at the time I was 10. Really, I mean, having drummed for like a few years, and I was in a lot of bands, but yeah, when those bands broke up, I realized the only way I'm going to have a career is by being self-sufficient. So I started writing my own material, and I did audition people to sing. So I wasn't really planning on being a solo artist, but um, that's kind of how it evolved. Really, was just how bands not really working out. And I was just like, well, I do want to make music in my life. I do want to have a career. So that's kind of how it happened. So I guess the vocal thing really has just been a matter of just growing through time. Having that emotional conviction and energy and enthusiasm in my vocals. It took me a while to get really excited about it. So like listening back to like my first album, I'm like, wow, could you just get a little bit more energy into the vocals, a little bit more conviction there? And I'm sure you know what I mean. The you Catastrophe was probably the first album where I really belted it out. You can tell it's a big quantum leap there
Yeah.
in my vocals. So yeah, I think that's probably the one thing really. This
Okay.
has been an evolving process.
No, I like I say, I hear people say that your vocals are similar to your dad's. Do you think that?
I think there are parts, there's here and there. I'll listen back to something and be like, wow, that really does hit home. That really does sound like my old man. We were just, genetically, it's a similar. We do have a similar sounding voice,
It's
but I've also got my own. I'm starting to develop my own style, I think. But here and there are hints of it. I'd say for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I mean, but it's not like Julian to John. Yeah, I
Right.
mean
Well,
that's
it really just depends
uncanny.
on on the song. It depends on like the key of the song
Hmm.
as well. There's a certain range where I hit where it's very much, it's very similar, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, it is very cool. And like I say, we love your dad, and
Yeah.
and let me ask you, how is his health and everything? How is he doing? Is he
He's
good?
doing great. He's doing
Good,
really great. I mean,
good.
he's wanting to get back on the road with Genesis, and my brother, younger brother Nick, is just
Hmm.
such a talented drummer. So like I think I think he just wants to go back on the road, and I think that's I think some people make music, and it's just like they don't mind retiring after however many years. But I don't think my dad will ever retire. I think he just loves making music and performing so much
Yeah,
that I think he'll just keep going. I think he'll keep going.
good news.
He's in good shape. He's doing well.
That's great to hear.
Yeah,
That's great to
yeah.
hear. Do you think you'll do anything with your dad? I know they're planning a tour. They planned it for
Yeah.
this year, but that didn't work out. Um,
Right. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
but
Well, we did the Big Bang together.
yeah.
I don't feel the need to really do anything else. To be honest, I mean, I
Hmm.
think it was something that I really wanted to do. The Big Bang was really, I had record labels kind of ask me and him to do a vocal duet, kind of more of a kind of marketing kind of thing,
Yeah.
and commercial kind of side to it. But me and him have an understanding that we would never do that.
Hmm.
So when I asked him to do something on Eucatastrophe, it was more like, well, let's do something where that kind of highlights our bond as drummers. Both of us kind of doing a drum battle. So I haven't done that. I just feel like, well, I don't really feel like there's any need for us to kind of do anything else, really.
Yeah.
I mean, when we hang out, we don't really talk that much about music. I think we're more, there's a lot of other things to life than that. And
Yeah.
so, we'll always have that connection. But
That is great news. That is it's great that you hang out and don't talk music and you're father and
yeah,
son.
sure.
It's really cool. You know.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and being on tour with your dad, you had to have dreams of things. Like you said, you knew what you wanted to do at 10. Uh, those dreams, have they come true for you? Are you?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, because I'm making records that I'm really proud of, and I've probably gone far beyond what I really thought I would achieve, to be honest. So I didn't set out to like, okay, well, I want to sell 250 million albums. That's my goal. Obviously, I want to sell records. That's a no brainer. But like with Sound of Contact, having achieved that, from a very young age, wanting to be in a great band, um, I think there's a great band that we put together. I'm really proud of that. And
Yep.
so, making that concept album, Dimensional, that was a profound experience for me as well. The kind of chemistry that we share as a band, and like that was a real game changer for me as well, my career. And yeah, so I've played some big gigs as well. I've played to 150,000 people. Like I have had a lot of like really great opportunities, and I'm just really grateful for all of it.
Yeah, that's so cool. And back to Dimension, that's Nick Davis producing that one, right?
No, he mixed it. Me
He
and
mixed.
Dave produced it,
Okay,
co-produced it together. Yeah,
okay, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, Nick Davis, he didn't come back. You haven't worked with him since that, right?
No, no, this is just a
Okay,
one-off thing.
okay,
Yeah, we specifically hired him to mix the album.
okay,
So yeah, but Dave Kersner and I co-produced it
okay.
together, and but Nick was great to work with. Really lovely guy, and we flew him out to Vancouver. That's where we did the album, most of it, some of it in Miami, but yeah, we mixed it at Brian Adams' studio, the
Okay,
Warehouse. Really
nice,
amazing studio there.
cool.
So it was great. Yeah, he took a couple weeks out, and he had some ideas as well when we were mixing it.
Hmm.
So I would say, as far as to say he co-produced it, that would be a stretch. But
Okay,
he certainly had some cool ideas during the mixing session.
right. Well,
So
he's been so
yeah,
involved with Genesis and Mike and the Mechanics and Marillion and XTC and just all of that.
yeah, yeah.
What a history for that guy. Yeah, it
Oh,
was.
totally.
You can, and then those sounds come through on that album for sure.
Right.
Yeah. If I had to play one song for somebody. I say, I'm talking to Simon Collins today. Hey, what does his music sound like? What do I play for him?
Well, Becoming Human, the title track would be a good start. I
Hmm.
think that song, sonically and lyrically, really sums up the sound and the kind of the theme of the album. So,
Hmm.
um, I think obviously to play someone current would probably make sense. But
Yeah,
sure,
that is where you're
that would
at.
be.
Uh, yeah, and it's a great cut. It's really the whole album just has an album feel. It has that traditional record feel where you put it on and it flows. It ebbs and flows. It's got peaks and valleys. It's a full record. It's not a single and then a single and then a single.
Right.
Was
Yeah.
was that intentional? Sequencing and everything. Was that really thought out for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because as I said, like it's not. It'd be a stretch to say it's a concept album because I didn't write out to set a concept album, but it's a very strong theme, and I really want to have that strong intro and outro, the bookends to it, to kind of set the mood. And I've got certain like set segues throughout the album as well, and I want it to be a journey. I want it to be a sonic journey, um, and really wanted to kind of people to also feel about it as well, to reach out and maybe inspire someone to take a closer look from a different perspective. So I really love putting together albums in that sense. I don't. It's not just about whipping together a few songs and plopping them on the same album together. For me, it's all about like setting a theme and having setting a journey for whoever's listening.
Yeah, and it's a great journey, and people are gonna love this. I can't wait to for people to hear it. It's really
Oh,
really
thank you so
cool.
much, mate.
I know you got a day full of interviews here, and I'll let you go.
Yeah.
But there's one story you put on your page that I think is just I don't even know what to think. It's just incredible. From the cruise to the edge. Um,
Right.
your
About the
tattoo. If you want to tell that story, I would appreciate it. I think it's fascinating.
oh, right. Yeah, you're talking about the book.
Yeah.
About the book. Yeah, yeah. I got this book. It's called Planetary Intelligence. It's written by Dr. Simeon Hine. And at that point I took that book everywhere with me. It's a very spiritual book as well, and it dives into, at one point later in the book, dives into crop circles, and he's explaining his point of view on what they all mean, and I took one of the crop circles from that book and tattooed it on my arm. So when I was up doing Storytellers at Cruise to the Edge with Matt Dorsey, we were about to close the show, and this man put up his hand and asked where I got the tattoo from, and I explained the book and how much I adore this book, and he put his hand back up after I'd finished talking and explained to us in the crowd that he was in fact the author of that book. Unbelievable. Um,
Unbelievable.
yeah, so I mean, what are the chances?
I mean,
Turns out he's a fan of the band. I'm like, wow, well, I'm a fan of your book. I mean, what is this all about? Crazy.
and you
So
didn't
yeah,
know at all, right? You didn't know it was him.
no, I didn't. Of course not. No. And then what's even crazier is that a year later, I ran into him again in the middle of a crop circle.
I
What is
mean,
going on?
that I don't even know how to react to that. I mean, that is just so bizarre.
Out there, man. I know. It's Deepak Chopra coined a term to explain an event like that. And it's called synchro destiny.
Hmm.
That's the word.
And that kind of sums
It's
it up,
interesting. It's
doesn't it?
interesting. Yeah,
Wow, that
yeah.
is
We're still in touch. Yeah.
that's just fantastic. What a great story that is. And it's a destiny, it's a fate that you guys came together. You mean so much to each other, I'm sure, and your
Yeah,
talents
totally.
and your
Yeah.
spirituality. Just a great story. uh, Simon, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for taking the time. I hope to see you on the road. That would be so great.
That would be amazing. I'd love that. That'd
do,
be great. Thanks so much for your time
do you
as
feel
well.
do you
Appreciate it.
think you might tour if things go
Well, I'd love to. I'd love to say a big fat yes to that. I just,
cool?
I do have a band together. I do have a band put together. The lineup's pretty awesome. Um, but but yeah, like it's just really until there's an end in sight with the whole COVID thing, it's just not going to be a reality,
Right, right.
But I can only hope,
Yep.
and we'll see. Because it'd be great to go on tour and play some showcases. So
Fingers are crossed, my friend. Fingers are crossed. So take care. Thank you again. Thank you so much, and I look forward to whatever you have coming in the future. It's fantastic. I
cool.
appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Scott.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Take care.
You too, bud.
All
Take
right.
care.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.